Jordan Clarkson gets back home, gets comfortable, and carries the Jazz to a marvelous win over the Washington Wizards, 127-115. And we're talking about Flame It On next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke, along with Ron Boone, as the Utah Jazz defeat the Washington Wizards 127-115, the final 11 of the night, scored by Jordan Clarkson. This was a ball game. It was just up and down like a scrimmage, track meet, whatever you want to call it. Didn't have a lot of oomph to it for much of the night. And then finally, with about 5-6 minutes left, everyone tried to dial it in, and the Jazz win it by 12 going away. Wizards lose their 15th straight. Jazz get their first win back at home after losing 3 on the road trip. And really, the story of the night is Jordan. The story also is 0 fast break points for the Washington Wizards in that fourth quarter. And as Tim Lacombe pointed out, fewer points in the third and fourth quarters combined than they had in the first quarter when they scored 41 points. And Ron, we talked about throughout the broadcast, they're the 27th ranked half-court team. They're the 4th most common and 6th best team when they get into transition. And so when they get out and run, they're tough. But if you can score on them, which they allow because they're 30th in the league, then you get them in the half court and you can run back on them because they're last in the league in transition defense. And that just kind of dictated the whole night. That storyline just kind of carried the way this whole game went.
Yeah, we got a dose of that for 3 quarters. Well, at least 2.5 quarters anyway, to the point where they were just pushing the ball up the floor. Not only just were they scoring, I mean, they were pulling up, knocking down 3-point shots, and, things changed in the fourth quarter, obviously. And you're absolutely right. As long as you get them in the half court, you're scoring on the other end of the floor. They got to bring the ball up the floor. That the offense just doesn't click for the most part.
And the Jazz were able to finally do that. Some interesting player. The Jazz started the night without Walker and Lowry. Keontae played, but then Keontae literally keeled over as though he's having terrible stomach cramps or some sort, and then he was about to inbound a ball and looked like he could, frankly, throw up all over the floor. And finally, they subbed him out, and he sprinted to the locker room, and he did not return at that point. And then Taylor Hendricks left the game with a sprained big toe, so then he didn't return. So Johnny Juzang ends up playing the final 12 minutes of this one tonight.
Yeah, he went 2 for 5 in 12 minutes, to play 1 for 4. He ended up with 3 rebounds and 5 points, and that's respectable, I think, as far as he is concerned. But just wonder now going forward about the big toe. We know that Keontae did not practice this morning. He was there, and when they said he was questionable, I thought he was not going to play. But guys want to get in there, but obviously
you have to like that out of Keontae.
Yeah.
I know that we're kind of in a day and age post-COVID where if you don't feel well, you probably aren't supposed to play. I got it, but I also do like to see that the rookie tried to get out there and go tonight rather than, hey, I don't feel great. And obviously he was pushing himself beyond his natural limits because, frankly, he looked like he was about to lose it on the floor tonight. So that's kind of like that one a little bit, in the sense of just it shows you a little bit of the toughness and who Keontae is. From the Jazz standpoint, Jordan Clarkson has really scuffled. He's been much worse on the road than at home, so the road trip was not pleasant to him. He's been okay, but he has slipped under 29% for three-point shooting in the year. I think it was last 5 games, he was about 22%.
24%.
24. He was at 34% overall. Mm-hmm. It was really a tough stretch for him. And you saw it today, Ron. You said the opening moments of our broadcast tonight, you said your notes have big night for Jordan Clarkson. What did you see at shoot around today?
Well, I just saw the way he was moving and shooting off the dribble and shooting off and everything was going in. It just like your confidence level is elevated in practice or in shoot around that morning. And I was so happy to see him make that first shot. Then when that falls, things seem to fall in place for him. But I just had the feeling this morning watching him work out. That was a long film session this morning. So before they, got into, the defensive assignments and how they wanted to defend this basketball team, he was out there early and doing a lot of shooting.
Interesting. And then he got it going. Then I thought it was interesting about he's 6 of 10 in the first half. I think he goes about 1 of 6 in the third quarter. And then he just goes, then he ignites the 11 straight in the fourth quarter to carry them to to really a win down the stretch they wanted to have. You don't want to be the team that loses, first team to lose to Washington 14, they lose their 15th straight. But he carried it with tough threes, some fading jumpers. And he and Sexton were kind of working the top, and they were picking the guy they were going after and lining up who they wanted to go get.
What's interesting about that, and what you're really glad to see, incidentally, Jordan Clarkson ended up playing 36 minutes tonight. So he spent a lot of time on the floor, especially in that second half, because he does not start. He ended up starting in that third quarter, the second half. And
can I
really
jump in for a quick second?
Sure.
36 minutes means he played he started the second half, so you're right.
Right.
It usually means he plays two straight 18-minute stretches, which is kind of incredible. So go ahead, sorry.
So he, what's interesting and what I really was glad to see, I mean, it wasn't like Will was telling Jordan and Sexton what to do with that two-man game that they were working out there on the floor. It was Sexton who recognized something, and they seemed to work it out to the point where, they could get what they wanted out there on the floor.
So, Ron, they allowed 41 points in the first quarter, 75 in the first half, and they allowed 40 in the third and fourth quarters combined. What'd they do differently defensively?
Well, if you're not running and you're scoring, it's going to be a big difference. The Jazz ended up shooting 47% there, and 41%, well, 42% there in the fourth period. But defensively, the Wizards were not running, so that field goal percentage dropped tremendously. They only got up 19 shots in that. You're looking at a 12-minute quarter, and they only give up 19 shots for 21%. So that's the story right there. And then you got Clarkson, who comes to life and ends up with 12 points in the fourth quarter. Collin Sexton with 8 points in the fourth quarter. And I think I know we're talking about this guard line, which was absolutely great tonight. But John Collins was tremendous.
I thought two guys were tremendous in regards to energy on a night that felt feckless for much of the night.
Mm-hmm.
John Collins and Chris Dunn both had fabulous energy tonight.
Right, exactly. You see how many shots John Collins blocked?
No.
6.
Wow.
6 block shots. So that's going to be awfully difficult for as our stars are concerned.
Oh, look at you. You're not sure what to do.
Yeah. But
you already told Lacey who you're going to start. Lacey got to the game tonight.
Even with that, I got to go with the guard line. But I thought the guard line was tremendous tonight.
John Collins tonight ends up playing how many minutes? 34 minutes without Walker. 17 points, 15 rebounds and assists, and 6 block shots. That's pretty good.
Can we give
nope.
2 stars?
No, you cannot. It's the Washington Wizards. You're not like we go beat the Boston Celtics. And you can change the rules.
Okay.
But you beat the Washington
Wizards. What about
honorable
mention?
You can honorable mention whoever you want. That's the most useless thing ever. You ever heard anybody get in the Hall of Fame on honorable mention? I was honorable. Yeah, great. Honorable mention all states. Super. You played 3 games. Yeah. Okay. You can go honorable mention whoever you want.
All right.
The Wizards, Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones had these incredible games. They were shooting 50% from 3 through 3 quarters. They were 14 of 26. In the fourth quarter, they went 0 for 7 from 3. Is that just the Jazz got fortunate? Is that altitude? They got tired? Is that third game of a road trip? Or is that finally, they still finished the night shooting 42% from 3. So it's not like they just happened to get all their misses at the same time.
It could be. You just never know. I don't think it was anything special the Jazz did on those guys. They just started to miss some shots. Poole only got up 5 shots in the fourth quarter, and Tyus Jones only got up 1 in 7 minutes of play. So, hey, take the win any way you can get it.
All right, let me look at our box score and make sure there's nobody else that there's a mention. It was certainly a unique night with Johnny Juzang getting extended minutes. Omer Yurtseven ends up playing 7 minutes off the bench tonight. Talon had one good stint tonight in his first half. Just kind of a wild. We had lineups on the floor you just never would have thought we were going to see at this point of the season.
The Jazz for the year have been averaging, and most of this is before the trade, 45 bench points a ball game, which was leading the league for the most part, largely because of Clarkson's 17 points a ball game that he was averaging coming off the bench, but he was still getting anywhere from 28 to 30 minutes a ball game. But he did come off the bench. Tonight, they just demolished that, You got 48 points between him and Johnny Zuzang. Can you add that up that fast?
Nope.
38, 48.
49 plus 19, Ron. 68.
68. Is that all?
Yep.
No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's awfully good.
Look what I got tonight. I got
Lacey.
Lacey gave me a Utah Jazz.
What do you mean just you? She gave me one as well.
I didn't say you didn't get one. I just said she gave me one. I didn't say she only gave it to me.
You should have said she gave us one of those shirts.
Evidently, I should have said she gave us
yes.
this shirt. It has
What's
all
it say on the back anyway? I didn't see that.
On the back, it has all the draft picks. And it's very detailed. It has what the protections are and if it conveys and what happens if it doesn't convey and then this and then swap rights. It's very very, very detailed.
Thank you, Lace.
All right, Jazz win it tonight over the Washington Wizards. Final score 127-115. Thank you very much for tuning in. You know where we send you now to the first ever national 24/7 sports channel. If you're watching ESPN Fox on your TV, now it's time to start adding Locked On Sports Today. Catch it on YouTube or on Amazon Fire TV. Avoid all the yelling and screaming at you and get some really good sports talk. See you.